it's Ron back with a another video, and over here on my channel, I do a lot of drone-related content, but today's not really going to be a drone video. So if you came here to see a drone fly or a drone video or some kind of update, a drone video, this isn't the video. You can turn this off. But before you turn it off, I will relate this video to drones. So if you have a little fortitude, just hang in there with me. Okay, I'm a little late here, but about a week ago, Apple had they call it their peak performance event on 3/8, 2022 in Cupertino, California. Now, these events aren't live anymore because of the COVID, but they had an event where they released some new hardware, and I'm just going to brief over the stuff that probably doesn't matter to most people. I really want to talk about the new Apple Studio computer they released, but I'm going to just briefly cover the other things, then we'll get right into the heart of what I want to talk to the new studio computer. Again, they released, I believe, what we'll say like four devices here, um, and one of them real kind of a weak release. The iPhone Pro 13, the current generation of iPhone. They released it back in the fall, but now they've added a new color, a green color to it. So you can now get your iPhone Pro or Pro Max in green. So I guess that's for St. Patrick's Day, which is coming up this week. So anyhow, I made that part up. I don't have to do anything to do with St. Patrick's Day. But anyhow, so if you want to like green, go get the phone in green. Okay, now here's something. A lot of people like a smaller phone. I believe the iPhone Pro is like 6.1 inch, and the Max is like 6.7 inch. And you don't have to bother correcting me in chat. I'm just winging on these numbers here. It is what it is, but it's a bigger phone, is my point. And so the iPhone SE, this is the third generation of the SE, I believe, and they keep the older 4.7 size phone, which is more pocketable for people with small hands, or small people have small pockets, or say women that have small handbags. So it's more, again, you can really hold it nicely in your hand. So anyhow, it's been a popular phone. They don't refresh it every year. I think it's been 2 years since they put the last SE out. But because this one, I've already said the 4.7 inches. It features the A15 Bionic chip, which is the same chip to the current iPhone 13. So you get the same speed as you would if you bought a Pro. That'd be as far as the chip or whatever. There's other enhancements to the Pro, but so you get a fast chip, and the starting price is $429. I believe that's for a 64 gig of RAM. So that's very affordable for a smartphone in this day and era. So that's good for people on a small phone, people on an affordable phone. So it fits a lot of different bills for a lot of different people there. And this is available on 3/18. And I don't know when the availability for that green iPhone starts. Probably the same date, but yeah, 3/18 is the first date you can buy it, and I think you can pre-order. You can start a pre-order process now. So, okay, quickly moving on. The iPad Air, and they don't even give a generation here. I forget which generation of iPad Air, because it doesn't have a number. I guess they're trying to get rid of the numbering and just the iPad Air. But this one is a 10.9 inch screen, which is what the previous iPad Air was. But this one has the M1 chip. That's the newest processor from Apple that they put in their iPad Pros the last go around back in the spring. So now the Air has the M1 chip, but it moved up from I think it was the Bionic 14 in the last generation iPad Air. Maybe it was the Bionic 13, one or the other. The M1 chip is their best mobile chip yet. So I mean, they've already got better models now for like the some of the MacBooks, but the M1 chips, kind of the gold standard over there. So you'll see a performance bump in it if you're moving up from the previous iPad Air. And this thing starts at $599, and it's also available on 3/18. And I think it's available to pre-order now. So keep that in mind. But okay, what I really want to talk about today is the Mac Studio. It's a brand new computer from Apple. They've never had it out before. It's it's kind of a cube-looking square desktop computer. This is a desktop, not a laptop, but it's a standalone computer. It's not like an iMac that has a built-in screen. It's just a kind of a block. And I did mention the iMac for a minute here, and this came out like the next day after the studios were released. The 27-inch iMac, which has been a workhorse for many people in the community, even people do a lot of video and photos. And it featured a 5K, of course, screen, as I just mentioned. It is discontinued. They'll be no longer making the 27-inch iMac. They will continue to make the 24-inch iMac, which they introduced last spring. But it's not, more of a consumery computer and not like more pro oriented like the 5K iMac was. So it's a little bit of bad news. I've been an iMac user for I had the first iMac or whatever. So I've gone through quite a few generations of iMac. So I'm sorry to see it go. And I think this studio is kind of a replacement for the iMac. So let me get down to the studio here. So I described what it looked like now. It comes in two different configurations here. There's one that features the M1 Max processor chip. And that's the same chip that's in the current MacBook Pro 16-inch laptop computer. That was the highest end M1 chip until this point. And now they also did I mention that was $1,999, $19.99 without the decimal point in there. But they also have an M1 Ultra, which is their fastest version of the M1 chip yet, and it goes for $3,999, so double the price of the M1 Max version. So quite a bump up here, and both these are available. Again, back to it's like a broken record here. 318, and it's available for pre-order now. So a little bit of specs here on this. The M1 Max has a 10-core CPU, 24-core GPU, and a 16-core neural engine. It has 32 gigabytes of unified memory, 512 SSD storage. It has on the front. It has two USB-C ports and one SD-XC card slot, and the back has four Thunderbolt 4 ports and two USB-A ports and a HDMI out, and a 10 gigabyte Ethernet port and a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. So that's a mouthful there, but for people that are keeping score at home of all the specs, this thing obviously has, a lot of ports. You won't, it won't be like you won't need a whole bunch of dongles to run this. You got plenty of ports for backup drives, other additional, things besides backup drives. Plenty of ports to plug in your HD cameras, your GoPros, your Insta360 cameras, plug your drones into, all that to get the information off those devices straight into the computer without popping memory cards in and out. Some devices today don't even have memory cards, so slots anymore. So have plenty of ports, plenty of high-speed ports is the important thing or whatever. So, that's all the stuff is good for most of the consumers. I mean, it has as many ports or more as your 27-inch iMac did. Plus, it has for all the iMac ports were in the back. So you had to reach around and put memory cards in or connect various other devices like cameras and stuff in and out. Where this has front ports, that makes it much easier to do that type of thing. Okay, so let's move on to the Ultra. Now, this has a 20-core CPU, a 48-core GPU, and a 32-core neural engine, and it has 64 gigabytes of unified memory and a 1 terabyte SSD storage built into it. And the ports are, let's see if there's a difference in the ports here. The ports on the front are Thunderbolt on this one, and there's 4 ports rather than the 2 USB-C ports that were on the the cheaper model. I hate to say cheaper model, less expensive model. And on the back, you have not basically, you have the same exact ports on the back. So the front ports get upgraded. You get 2 more ports, and they're all Thunderbolt 4 ports. So yeah, Now you pay a little bit more with more of a professional level drone. And Apple did advertise the fact that this can handle like 8K video, high frame rate video, and of course, it excels at running things like Final Cut Pro and Photoshop, Lightroom, things like that. So for a working either photographer or video professional, this computer should have more than enough horsepower to get the job done. With these specs, and of course, remember with Apple stuff, you may find higher specs on some Windows stuff, but the Apple stuff is all designed to work with the OS. It's kind of tweaked to work together. Sometimes you get more speed because it's tuned with the OS. Is the best way I can explain it. So anyhow, I do want to throw in too. They also offer a standalone 27-inch, 5K screen, and I believe the price of that was $15.99. And I believe you get the same release dates, 3/18, for all this stuff. And it also has the camera built into it on the monitor, at same camera that's in the newest laptops, where it has that center stage thing where it kind of can follow you around a little bit if you move. I know it has, I don't have the specs, but it has upgraded speakers in, so the sound is very good coming right out of the monitor. So you have some perks like that too. So again, combination is monitor, and the studio will more than replace the current generation of 5K iMacs as far as performance and ability. I'm sorry I didn't have more details on the monitor. I didn't write them all down, but it's pretty impressive. So and how I'm tying all this into drones, instant GoPro Insta360 footage, Action 2 footage, anything like that, even high-end video from your DSLRs, like that new Panasonic GH6 or whatever that shoots real, I think it shoots 8K video at real high frame rates, like, 4K, 64K, 100. It has great specs on it. A computer like this will be able to take all that footage and be able to edit it, even if you're shooting high bit rates, without having to do a lot of cache video and a lot of proxy video that you would have to do with a slower machine using an app such as Final Cut, and even editing photos. If you have an editor like a Lightroom, or if you use any of the Luminar products, when you want to do some of the effects in there, you won't have to wait. It won't hesitate. It'll just render all the stuff immediately. So this is very pricey. It's not for I don't know, the average consumer that has a mini drone and flies it once in a blue moon and just throws their videos straight up on YouTube. This is probably either working professional, somebody that's real prosumer, somebody that has maybe a serious YouTube channel where they're trying to post a lot of cinematic type content, and of course, working photographers, even amateur photographers that really take their art seriously. This could be a computer that could fit a lot of needs for you, especially if you don't want to work on a laptop. A lot of people love laptops. Laptops are very popular, probably more popular than desktops at this point. But somebody that does want a desktop, they want that bigger, screen, that big 27-inch screen, to really, be able to see all the detail in their photos and videos. This could really be something that could really fit into kind of your workflow, and to get to be a good production machine. Whether you're a professional or just a very enthusiastic hobbyist. I'll be anxious to see the reviews on it. I will not be ordering this from I may consider ordering down the road, but I don't really need it this time. I purchased the 14-inch for the M1 Max. I got the M1 Pro chip on mine, and mine does very well, editing 5K video, 4K 60, high frame rates. So I can just imagine how good these new computers are, especially that that new Ultra. So I won't go on. I just kind of wanted to get this out there. I know a lot of people have been asking about the new Apple stuff, so I just wanted to give a brief overview, and especially this new studio computer. I will be again. I'll be anxious to see it come out. I'll be watching all the big channels who get it first, review it, test it out, and now I'll be looking forward to seeing real life users, photographers, videographers. I know that make the decision, get it, see what they think about it when they put it through the daily grind, being a work machine for them and basically producing content daily. So, okay, thanks for stopping by and checking out the channel if this is your first time. We do a lot of content. We do a lot of drone stuff in here, but we do a lot of GoPro stuff. There is the 360. You know, uh, Panasonic and Olympus camera stuff. A lot going on over RC cars. Trying to do a lot of stuff over here, but I do most use Apple gear here, so I kind of try to keep up with the latest in the Apple world here. So goodbye, folks, and we will see you in the next one.